Hello mathematical literacy learners, welcome to the most basic revision for scales for grade 11 and grade 12. Well, this is mostly grade 11 work, so yeah, let's get started. So we have two types of scales, a bar scale and a ratio scale, which a bar scale is also known as a line scale. So you see how this is a line and this is a bar. It's the same thing, it's read and used in the same way. So one of the most important advantages to know when you shrink the page, maybe you're trying to photocopy 2 pages, or it was a big A3 page and you shrink it to an A4, then you also shrink the bar. The bar also shrinks with that, so it goes, you can still use it and get accurate measurements. Yeah, that's how I'm going to say it. So the bar shrinks, or the line shrinks with the rest of the drawing, and therefore they still go together. Whereas a ratio scale, once you shrink, then you can no longer use the ratio scale because it no longer goes with the drawing. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at how to read a bar scale. So we're going to start with bar scale. Just a little info. I got this from the Department of Education website, online lessons. So I was looking for good revision stuff, and I found this and I thought, oh my god, I'm going to use this. So now as I'm trying to remember the name of the thingy, of that initiative, I forgot it, so I'm going to write it in the description as soon as I remember it, as soon as I find it. Okay, so bar scale, ruler. Now first of all, let's learn how to use our ruler. I find that a lot of learners use the corner here to measure, but if you do this, then this part doesn't have any numbers on it. So you're supposed to start here because the 0 is on this line, and therefore that 0 has to go there. See, this is 40 millimeters or 4 centimeters. So I like to use the line, the side with millimeters, just in case, you know, it goes somewhere here and then I know how many millimeters. Then this one is 40, the whole of it. So 40 millimeters right there where it says 120, and then of course everywhere else it's different. So where it says 40, we're going to read it there. Let me do a close-up. There we go. 40 millimeters is 120. So we're going to do it step by step, but first let's how to place our ruler. Okay, so here it's 10 millimeters, 11, 12, 13, 14 millimeters is somewhere here at 40, and then I have 28 millimeters somewhere here at 80. So now what if I have a broken ruler and I can only start maybe somewhere here? Remember, this line here is the beginning, so the large line, the longer line is the beginning. If you place it there and you forget, just ignore the numbers here and just say this is 10, 20, 30, 40, right? So this is 5, 10, 15, so 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I've placed it at the, yeah, it's 14. There we go. So you can use your ruler even if it's not, as long as the long line starts at the beginning of where you want to start measuring, and then you can count on your own, because that's 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, 3 millimeters, 4 millimeter, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So from here to there it's 10 millimeters, which is also, even if you convert it, it's 1 centimeter. So that space here, I always like to say, oh, it's almost the same size as my finger. So that space there is 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters. But you just have to make sure that it's exactly, so just in case it's like not exactly, and then you can read it in millimeters. Okay, so now I'm going to read this. I'm going to, when I read it, I'm going to do it in millimeters for those who like to use millimeters, and I'm going to do centimeters for those who like to read in centimeters. Okay, so let's get started with writing everything down. Okay, so now this is where we're going to say, what does the scale mean? Okay, so the bar itself represents the measurement of the plan or map. I'm going to use the word map because I like it's easier. Map, right? So this bar here represents the measurement of the map, and these ones that are written here are actual measurements. Right, so these are actual ground. Okay, so you can use up to 40, you can use up to 80, you can use up to 20, as long as you start from 0 when you're measuring. So I'm going to do all of it, so you know you can pick wherever. So I'm going to first start with the measurement of the plan or the measurement of the map. I'm going to start with 40 there. So if we start there, I'm going to start with millimeters. Okay, now let's go. We said it's 14 millimeters. Right? Okay, so I'm going to write it down. The measurement of the map, we always write the measurement of the map is to the measurement of the real ground. So the map is always on the left and the real ground is always on the right. If you keep it like that, you'll never get confused. So we measured 14 millimeters, and then real ground, we're going to read it. So where did we stop? Is that we ask ourselves, where did we stop? We stopped at, let me check if 40 millimeters at 40. Yes, we stopped at 40 kilometers, it says there. So the real ground is 40 kilometers, and there we have our scale. If you see 14 millimeters on the map, it represents 40 kilometers on the real ground. This is how you read a bar scale. Okay, now I'm going to write it in centimeters. How do I read it in centimeters? Okay, so now here's what I do. Here's what I do. I take my ruler, place it nicely, making sure that the long line starts exactly where my thing starts. See, we don't see exactly the same, so it's okay. Don't panic. So I said from there to there, it's 1 centimeter. As you can see, if you turn it around and use centimeters on the side, centimeters. So from there to there, it's 1 centimeter. But now I won't know because they don't have the lines in the middle. I won't know if it's 1,2, 1,4, 1,3. So that's why I'm using my millimeter side. So it's 1 centimeter. And then it's going to be 1. And then you say 1,1, 1,2, 1,3, 1,4. There we go. So we have here the scale as 1,4 centimeters is to 40 kilometers. So you can use millimeters, you can use centimeters. It's up to you. Okay, let's read the second part. So someone else might like to read from 0 to 80 kilometers. So measurement on the map, we place our ruler nicely there, and we have 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 1,1, 1,2, 1,3, 1,4, 1,5, 1,6, 1,7, 1,8. So it's not 3 centimeters, it's 2,8. So that's 2 there, 2,1, 2,2, 2,3, 2,4, 2,5, 2,6, 2,7, 2,8. Okay, so millimeters and centimeters, 28 millimeters, 28 millimeters, or if you read it in centimeters, 2,8 centimeters is to 80 kilometers is to 80 kilometers. So you can use this one or you can use this one, it's fine as well. Sorry about that. So we're going to read the last one. So the last one is 40 millimeters or 4 centimeters. So say 1, 2, 3, 4 centimeters, or 10, 20, 30, 40 millimeters. So it's 40 millimeters is to 120, or it is 4 centimeters is to 120 kilometers. All right, so there we have it. Our scale, we can read it in any of that form. Right, so we have our scale now. Now once you want to use this, you can use this as it is and cross multiply. So how do you write it when you want to do calculations? You say, I'm just going to take an example of this one. 4 centimeters on the ground represents, so it is equal to 120 kilometers on the real ground. So 4 centimeters on the map is equal to 120 kilometers on the real ground. And then I always write my is equal to first, and then I remind myself, this is the measurement of the map, this is the measurement of real ground. Always make all these notes. They don't affect marking. And then, so whatever I measured on the map here, or if I have a measurement for the real ground this side, and then I can cross and multiply. We're going to do that soon. Okay, let's go with the line scale. There's our line scale here. So let's repeat again. So 0 to 100, and I read the unit of measurement there is meters, and then the 0 to 200. So my line, I can measure any of the two, and I'll get my scale. So here it says 15 millimeters. So this shorter line here, these longer lines, and then there's a shorter one here in the middle of everything, right? So don't start here, right? If you don't know how to see where the centimeter is or where 10 millimeters is, make sure you start with a big line, and then you know, okay, after the next line, when the next line comes, you've passed a centimeter or 10 millimeters. So here we're going to read there, that's 10 millimeters. Again, I'm going to do it this way so that you can see, you can read it from anywhere on your ruler. So you see from the first here, from one there to there, it's 10 millimeters. So I'm not going to mind these numbers. So from here to here, it's 10 millimeters, and then 15 millimeters, right? And then that's our scale. So that's 15 millimeters on the map represents 100 meters on the real ground. So we're going to do this scale on this side. So 15 millimeters on the map represents, we said 100, so that's going to be 100 meters on the real ground. So if you like, you can say 1,5 centimeters represents 100 meters if you prefer centimeters. And then we're going to do the whole thing. If we like, we can do the whole thing. It goes from there to there. Let me check if 200 is there. Yes, that's 3 centimeters or 30 millimeters. Again, let's measure it from anywhere. See, 1, 2, 3 exactly. So that's 30 millimeters is to 200 meters, or you can say 3 centimeters is to 200 meters, and that is your scale. So that is our bar scale or line scale. And then we're going to do a ratio scale. So if you look at this one here, which is called a number or a numeric scale or a ratio scale. Number and numeric is the same thing. Ratios, okay, always written in the following format. So it's written as a ratio. That's why they call it a ratio scale. So the distance on a map is represented by the true distance on the right. So 1 is to 100,000. As we said, that a ratio scale is written as a ratio, but it's also called a number scale because it's got numbers rather than this one has a bar and numbers, but this one has just numbers. So numbers, and it's all written, the map on the left and the real life on the right. As you can see, when we read this, we try to follow that system where we write the map on the left and we may write the map on the right. Now, immediately, I want us to check the difference, right? So this one, there's no units of measurements. This one has units of measurements because we read it from the bar. And we measured it in millimeters here, and then it's written there that it's kilometers. And then if we measure in centimeters, we write the centimeters, and then it's written there that it's kilometers. So we have the units of measurements like this. But when it comes to a ratio scale, there's no units of measurements written there, but you can use centimeters. If you say with 1 is a centimeter, then 100,000 is also a centimeter. That's why they don't write, because the units of measurement on both sides are the same. Then 1 millimeter this side, then it means that 100 millimeters on the other side as well. So what does this mean? This means that 1 centimeter on the map represents 100,000 centimeters on the real ground. Or you can say 1 millimeter on the map represents 100,000 millimeters on the real ground. Right, okay. Now that we've looked at that, let's try some questions. Okay, so I got this from Monyetla Bursary Project. If just in case they have, I don't know, I haven't seen any other questions, but if you want to look them up on the internet, they might have even more good revision work. So yeah, I just took this question only. They had like, this one came with a number of other lessons as well. I just liked this for revision, and I thought, wow, this would be nice for learners to see. Okay, so make sure you check them out for grade. See, for grade 11. I'm starting to get you guys covered now. Okay. So we're going to take a look at the question for the bar scale, and then we're going to take a look at the question for 1.2 as well. But I want us to start with 1.2 instead of question 1. So we're going to start with 1.2, and then we're going to do 1.1. We're going to look at the ratio scale first. It says use the scale 1:125,000 to determine the real distance in kilometers between 2 points on the map if the length between them is 35 centimeters. Firstly, I am a very big believer in understanding what is being said before attempting to answer the question, because that's where the answers lie. Okay. So we're given a scale here, and this is called a ratio scale. Always do that. When you get your scale, when you read your stuff, oh, you see the scale, oh, this one is called a ratio scale. Because your brain then starts thinking of many other things. Because once you say, oh, that's a ratio scale, and then your brain starts thinking of other things about a ratio scale. And that is, if I like centimeters, I can say 1 centimeter on the map is equal to 125,000 centimeters on the real ground. Right? Okay, so it says here determine the real distance in kilometers. So your answer, the final answer must be in kilometers between 2 points on the map if the length between them is 35 centimeters. So now let's talk about this length thing and the real distance and stuff on the question. So we're going to talk about the question first. So the question here says, the question says calculate the real distance. So remember, measurement of the map, real distance. That's how it's represented on the scale. So measurement on the map, real distance on this side, real distance on this side. So this is the ratio scale. Let's write it there. So on the right, it's real distance. So okay, so here they gave me the measurement of the map, and this one is the one we don't know, because the question says I must calculate the real distance. Always ask yourself what the question wants. The question wants the real distance, and therefore I do not know the real distance here. But what do I know? I do know that 1 centimeter on the map, because of the scale, is equal to 125,000 centimeters. This I know is written right there. Now I'm going to use this that I know to get what I don't know. Okay, is there anything else I know? I know that the distance between 2 points of towns on the map, so from point 1 to point 2, is 30 centimeters. They've measured it for me, and they said it's 35 centimeters, right? So the position there between the 2 maps is 35 centimeters. Now this is a measurement of the plan of the map. They said the 2 points on the map. This is on the map. They say it's on the map. Now where do we write the map? On the left. So we're going to say we have 35 centimeters. So now I've written the measurement of the map that side, and I've also written the measurement of the map here. Now real ground, we do not know. They say calculated, so we don't know what it is. I'm just going to write unknown. You can write whatever it is that makes you remember that this is what you're calculating. You're free to do whatever you want. If you like X, some people like to write X as the unknown, you know, because X means unknown. So I like to write it out in words. Okay, so now we cross multiply. Cross multiplication, if you're not used to it, please practice it. So this 1 centimeter times unknown is equal to 35 times 125,000 centimeters. See, now we have it as a sum, and we can just find the unknown. So I'm going to look for my unknown. I know there was an unknown there. So where is it now? Oh, there it is. So my unknown is there. I know that it needs to be left alone there in order for me to get the answer. So 1 centimeter is multiplying unknown, and therefore I have to do the opposite for it to go to the other side. The opposite of multiply, the opposite of plus is minus. The opposite of minus is plus. The opposite of multiply is divide, and the opposite of divide is multiply. So we, instead of multiplying now, we must divide by 1 centimeters, and guess what happens to those two? They cancel each other out and they're gone. And whatever I've done here, what did I do? I divided by what? By 1 centimeter. And then I get my answer through the calculator. Ooh, I didn't bring my calculator. So the calculator says it's 437500. Okay, 437500 centimeters. We've been working with centimeters, and therefore the answer is going to be centimeters. It's centimeter here, centimeter here, centimeter there. There's nothing else. Now, we've tried to answer the question, but we didn't answer the question fully. We have 407. What is this number? 437,000. I wrote it wrong. Let me not do that. It's 437,500 centimeters. Okay. We have 437,500 centimeters. Now let's go back to the question. The question had said to us, write the real distance. Okay. And then they said, we want the real distance in kilometers. That's fine. I have the real distance here. It's just not in kilometers. So what am I going to do? I'm going to convert centimeters to what? To kilometers. See how I make notes everywhere? Because once I do those things, my brain starts thinking of other things. So now I say, how do I convert that? Please watch the conversion thing on thingy. So from centimeters to kilometers, it's from the small units of measurement to a large unit of measurement. Therefore, my 437,500 centimeters. Please watch the conversion lesson that was done in December. It's about 10 months ago now. Then we divide by how many zeros? I'm going to go ahead and say 5 zeros. I hope I'm right. And then we just divide by 100,000, and then it's 43.75 kilometers, and that is our answer. Okay, so we're going to read this one here from 1.1. Consider the bar scale below and answer the questions that follow. So we have a bar scale on 1.1, and then we are going to read it using the ruler. And so I read there. I'm going to read there. That's 2.1, and that's 5.2, and that's a 75, 76, 77 if you read it in millimeters, 7.7 if you read it in centimeters, and then there it's 10 centimeters, 10.3 centimeters. Okay, we're going to use the 10.3. So it said 52 millimeters here. We're going to go with 52. I like to go 51. 52 millimeters. So we're going, if you go halfway there, but then if you lose the last one there at the end, which is 4,000, I can go with 10.4. So this time I want to say 104 millimeters is to 4,000 meters. That says meters there. So I can also do this in centimeters and say 10.4 centimeters is to 4,000 meters. See, I can use this one or I can use this one. It's up to me, right? Okay, now let's go through the questions. Define the meaning of the scale 1 is to 50,000 in your own words. So this one is not that one. This one is a ratio scale. The question, first question there, that's a ratio scale. So let's say define the scale. Okay, this one says 1 centimeter on the map represents 50,000 centimeters on the real ground. Now 1 millimeter on the map represents 50,000 millimeters on the real ground. I like to use the units of measurements, but you can say 1 unit, whether it's units as in centimeters or unit as in millimeters. So you can say 1 unit represents 50,000 units. So you can use whichever you want. I prefer to use measurements so that because it makes more sense to me when I use the unit of measurement. Exactly. So if say 1 centimeter this side, I know that it's 50,000 centimeters on the real ground as well. So that's how I would define this in my words. And then we have the number of kilometers represented by 9 centimeters. So now the number of kilometers is real ground. 9 centimeters is the unit of is a measurement on the map, right? So centimeters, millimeters is a measurement on the map here. So 9 centimeters would be very small. So they're saying we must now determine the number of kilometers represented by 9 centimeters on this bar scale here. So if we use the bar scale and we determine the 9 centimeters, we'll find real scale. So if this is the unit of the measurement of the map, so I have the unit of the measurement, I have the measurement of the map, and I'm trying to find a real distance, right? So here we go. We can use any of these. So I'm going to say use this one, which is 10,4 centimeters is equal to 4,000 meters. So again, remember, map on the left, real ground. So let me check. Did I write the map on the left? Yes, 10 centimeters and 4,000 meters. Now here they're saying they have 9 centimeters, which is the measurement of the map. Again, did I write the measurement of the map on the side of the map? Yes. And I don't know how many meters is 9 centimeters. I'm trying to find out, and therefore I'll cross multiply. So when I cross multiply that, I'll say 10.4 centimeters multiplied by unknown is equal to 9 centimeters multiplied by 4,000 centimeters. Then I have unknown here, and that's fine because they multiply each other. Therefore, I can do the opposite, which is divide. So I'm dividing by 10,4 centimeters. That cancels that. If you take a calculator, say 10,4 divided by 10,4, it becomes 1. 1 times anything stays the same. Okay, so we divide this side as well because we divided here. We divide by 10,4 centimeters because we divided by 10,4 this side. So now we just need to use our calculator. 9 times 4,000 divided by 10,4 will give us 3,461.538462 meters. Now I'm going to leave it to you to round off because they didn't say round off to what. So you can round off to 2 decimal places, whole number. It's up to you. As long as there's no instructions either on the cover of the question paper or on the question itself. Okay, so we're going to do the last question here, which says, if the distance from the school to the mall on the map is 5 centimeters, calculate the actual distance in kilometers. If the distance from the school to the mall on the map is 5 centimeters, calculate the actual distance in kilometers. Okay, see you on the next one.